There's probably some ironic joke to make posting a Pope deck profile 3 days after Easter, but we ain't doing that here. How's it going, everybody? I've got a Solarion deck profile for you guys. This deck got supported in set 12 through the Masque version. If you guys weren't aware, this is actually my first Keter deck that I've owned in Standard. Mind you, you've seen Liel obviously, but I didn't really touch Keter until this guy came out because people were like, "This deck is horrible. Don't even touch it." That intrigued me to mess around with it because I like bad decks. And yeah, let's go on into this. We have the ride line, which is you have the starter, you have this grade one, which is grade one Aliron, I believe is how you pronounce it. She says that when she is placed on the or when she is ridden over, you get to reveal it or declare either normal or trigger unit, reveal the top card, and if it's what you declared, you get to add it to your hand. If it's not, you can put it into soul or you can put it to the top of your deck. So for that first effect, really quick, you're always calling normal with it because you always take normal units to hand. Because if you flip a trigger, you can just put it back on top of your deck and hit your opponent with it, which is really funny. It also has a on play on rearguard ability, which a lot of cards in the deck have a sort of similar ability, which is you'll reveal a normal unit in your hand. You'll then draw a card and then put the card that you revealed back on top of your deck. This kind of guarantees that you know what the top card of your deck is, which will normally be a normal unit. We have the grade 2, which is Strogon, I believe is how you pronounce it. Um, when a Solarion rides over him, he calls himself and Iron out of your soul to the rear guard. So you get 2 free bodies when you ride grade 3. And also, if you're uh, during the or if you have revealed a normal unit from your Solarion's effect, he gets the ability that at the end of the battle you can retire him to countercharge one. So the big important thing about this deck, which is very opposite to how you want to play Vanguard in general, is you're trying to guarantee that you have a normal unit on top of your deck for the most part. So instead of like trying to like stack triggers on top, you're normally trying to make sure you have a normal on top so you can proc off some effects, and then you have ways to get rid of them. And then we have Solarion himself. Now, really quick, you will not be on Solarion that long in this deck. We're still going to read the effect, of course. But the important thing to know is this card, if you go first, is really good to just sit on. And then next turn you can go into your Masque version. But otherwise, you really don't want to spend too long on him because the Masque kind of is a huge upgrade for the deck. So what he does is, beginning of your battle phase, you get to Soul Blast 1, declare normal or trigger. You're obviously going to declare normal most of the time. And then you reveal the top card. If it's what you declared, all of your units get +5. So this is an easy 10k to every column that you have, which is really cool. And then when it attacks a Vanguard, you counterblast 1. You're going to look at top 2, call a card, and you either put the rest on top of your deck or on bottom of your deck. So going first, this is it's just a 4 attack deck. It's whatever with some like decent power to it. But the real magic comes from the main deck, which will be your Solarion Masque. So we're playing 4 copies of him. So Solarion Masque has a really interesting ability, which is you can Energy Blast 3 to do the whole reveal a normal unit thing, draw a card, put the revealed card on top of your deck. This is really good in case you don't hit anything else that can, stack the deck for you. He also has an ability which is to remove a Solarion from your drop, your soul, I believe hand too, and you get to uh, declare the top card of your deck, and if you declared it right, one of the cards that you call with him during the battle phase will do 1 drive check, which is really cool. And his upgrade to so the original Solarion's call during battle phase is you're going to look at top 3 this time instead of top 2, and you get to call as many to Dragon Tree markers as you would like, and then you leave the rest on top of your deck. So I believe you can also put them to bottom too. You could also put them to bottom if you'd wish. So that's it's a really cool effect. You basically whatever you call is going to normally have a drive check because you'll have ways to get rid of Solarion. So you'll always be doing roughly 3 drive checks a turn. Unless you hit an overtrigger, you might hit more, but we'll get into that when we get into that. It's a really strong card. This deck is very reminiscent of Magnolia Masque, where the biggest thing is to get a good amount of markers on your board. This one, realistically, you only need to get 3 onto your board, but if you can fill up the whole board, you can give +5 to all your units like the original, which I think is a really cool callback. We have 2 copies of, well, I guess we should show off the other important parts, which is your Mask of the Hydrogum and your Fire Regalis. Fire Regalis can be changed for probably Twin Cast, but there's not really any. Uh, there isn't any other Regalis piece that I've been like fiending for this deck. I feel like the Fire Regalis kind of just hits what you want to, especially if you are missing your Dragon Tree Wretch and you need to find that. I think it's very important to have. And then the last little bit of the grade 3s, which we'll just pull you guys off to the side for a second, is 2 copies of Ridden. Now, here's the thing. I've been looking everywhere for where my extra copy of Ridden is. I'm just not finding it. I don't know where it is, so it's whatever, right? But Ridden has a really cool ability, which is when he swings, if your normal unit was revealed by your Solarion's ability this turn, he gets 10k, and at the end of the battle, he goes to Soul. So he's a 23k attacker or a 28k attacker with the marker, and 38 with Persona, obviously. But so he hits really hard, and then his other abilities in the Soul, you can you can get rid of him to pick a card from your drop zone, any normal unit, and put it to the top of your deck. So this is an extra way to guarantee that you know what the top card of your deck is. And it could also get you a specific piece that you want, right? So sometimes you might want I don't know, the new thing that restands cards. There's a lot of other options you can do based on the scenario, but I only think 2 is worthwhile to play because there's a lot of other cards in the deck that I feel like you want to max out on because they're a little more important. Um, but there is one space you could cut it for. This is just a personal preference going into the grade 2s. I play one ace unit. So here's the thing about the ace unit. My philosophy with deck building for this deck is I want to have access to multiple energy uses, if that makes sense. So you're going to energy blast 3 off of Solarion Mask right here, and you're gonna energy blast 3 off the Dragon Tree Wretch. You guys are gonna do these, uh, you know, realistically, you're gonna do this every turn. You're gonna at least do this once to grab your mask, right? But if you go second, you'll always have a little extra energy. So I like to have the little backup plan of this. Uh, just it's just kind of how I like to cover base. I think if you're going to play things that energy blast for 3, you should at least have 5 to 6 cards that can also energy blast 2. So or energy blast 3. So I think having like these is very important. Well, this is obviously important for the deck in general, but I think having this as like a backup if you do not hit or if you do not have extra energy or you do not hit your copies of this, very important. So we'll move on to this little Dragon Tree marker maker. Basically the same as the one that came out on the for Brandgate or Dragon Empire. On play to Energy Blast 3 and grab a Mask of the Hydrogum from your deck, and then you can Counterblast 1 to search your deck. Bind this first. Search your deck for a copy of your Mask Vanguard. You don't have to be on him. You just search out for your copy of a unit with Mask. Uh, or you could grab the Dragon Tree if you're playing that version. And you get to add it to your hand. But if you already have one of these bound, you can only look at the top 7, and then you make a Dragon Tree marker, which is kind of important for this deck, right? So play 4 of this. You could argue that the original one the one that's like Counterblast, Soul Blast to make a Dragon Tree marker and grab the Masque is a little better for the deck because you get to keep the rear guard on board. I personally don't think it matters too much for that. We have 4 copies of, I think it's Lectures is his name. Lectures has a really cool ability, which is end of battle he attacked. If your normal unit was revealed by your Solrarion Vanguard this turn, you put him to Soul and countercharge 1. And if he was called from the deck this turn, you get to draw 1 as well, which is always really nice, getting the extra draws. And then we have probably the most important new addition to the deck. This came out in set 8, which is, I believe her name is Adore's Light Angel. Uh, the art's really pretty, so I had to grab the silver rares for this one. Otherwise, I've tried to keep this deck pretty base rarity. But what she does is, if a normal unit was revealed by your Solarion Vanguard, she gets the continuous 5k, which is really cool. And when she's placed on the rear guard during the battle phase, you can counterblast 1 to restand something in the same column as this, which helps you just get your boosters back to boosting, which is really nice. Boosters back to boosting, huh? Alright. Well, but it's very important because you can only call back, or you can, at maximum, call 3 off of Solarion Masque. So you kind of want to have that extra like way to get the extra attack so that or the extra booster so that your attacks still hit for a decent chunk. But that is it for the grade 2s. I think that lineup is very solid. Um, Not a lot of changes I would make there. This is also a very straightforward part. We got the new Dragon Tree, which is really cool. So he is when discarded for ride phase, you're going to look at top 7 of the deck, add a Dragon Tree, add a Masque, or add a Mask of the Hydro Gum to hand. It's an insane custom card for the Masque strategies, and it also can be removed from the game as the cost for your Masque unit, so you don't have to run multiple copies of the grade 3 if you don't want to, which is really cool. I might butcher this still. I believe it's Solda Sakabat, whatever. Um, this is one of the original Dragon Tree Wretches in the same set Griffogia got released. He is an on-play to counterblast and make a Dragon Tree marker, and then if something is placed in his column, you can counterblast 1 to draw a card. So normally, like for most Dragon Tree decks, you're just looking to make the marker or whatever. But he has this alternative function where when you look at your top 3, if you see that like you hit like two regular guys you want to call on a perfect guard, you call the 2 regular guys, leave the perfect guard on top, use his ability to counterblast 1 and draw you a card. So you have that perfect guard in hand, which is really cool. And speaking of perfect guards, we're playing 4 perfect guards. We're playing the Pope one because it's a funny Pope deck, whatever, right? But that is it for the main deck. Not a lot I personally want to change on it, but obviously, the more testing I do, the more things can change. Our over trigger is the new green one, and the reason why is because I think this card is really funny, especially for this deck. So you can give, if you swing with Solarion and you flip it, Solarion gets a crit and you'll do another drive check. If you drive check this off your rear guard, it'll get a crit and you do another drive check. I think it's just a very funny card overall. And speaking of crits, we love them. We're playing 8 of them, and then we're playing 3 fronts and 4 heals. There is a part of me that wants to swap 1 more crit into another front, but I haven't tested enough to know whether that's worth it or not. But it sounds like a good idea to me at the very least. But yeah, that is it for this profile. Just a casual, fun deck that I like messing around with. Highly recommend if you have, like, I don't know, like, the most expensive card in the deck is probably going to be, let's see here. Besides the ace unit, because the ace units are getting a little pricier, the most expensive card is realistically going to be this guy. Uh, so maybe like this is like a $40 deck, maybe less. But if you have the chance and are looking for a nice, fun, and friendly budget deck, this is definitely it. You'll have a great time with it. And yeah, I got more coming up for you guys, so stay tuned. Peace out.